Hello everyone, so we just had Spider-Man 2099 release, and I spent about 2 hours playing with him, and there's honestly not anything that I feel comfortable sharing as far as it being a high quality deck, because it is very tough to consistently trigger Spider-Man 2099, and it just feels a little bit heavy-handed. It feels like it costs a little bit too much. I tried it in a Zabu package, I tried it in a just standard kind of move package, I tried it in a kind of hybrid move that looks to counter or push a lot of power and just have that threat on the board, and all of it felt just okay. And so I decided we're going to go ahead and jump into an Infinity Conquest, and today we're going to be using a Sera Counter kind of list. And so it's a Sera Counter deck, but it has an interesting twist to it. It has the Invisible Woman that allows us to hide our Shang-Chi. We have the Rogue to steal a powerful ongoing ability. Instead of countering an entire lane, we're looking to just grab one high priority target, and the rest is still relatively the same as a normal Sera Counter list. And so let's go ahead and we're going to jump straight into this Infinity Conquest. Up for grabs is the Uatu Infinity Avatar, and we've been rocking this avatar long enough that we need to do this dang thing. We need to get it taken care of. So let's go ahead and queue up with the Sera Counter kind of list and see how we do on the Infinity Conquest. I'm incredibly nervous, you guys. We granted about 8 tickets on this account, about 5 on the other account, and I'm nervous. I'm incredibly nervous for this one. Elysium's kind of cool with Iron Lad starting out. We have the Angela that we'll be able to continually play and buff up. I think we go ahead and skip here and get some information about what kind of deck the opponent is running. Ooh, so the Calling Wing and Swarm. So they're running an Apocalypse discard? That was beautiful for them. Now, if we can get Invisible Woman, we can actually Shang-Chi the Dracula, which would be amazing. We're going to skip here one more turn and get a little bit more information about the opponent's deck. Okay, so the Collector tells me maybe it's not. Ooh, these locations are terrible for us. They haven't snapped, but these are just awful. We can't play for the Sanctum. We can't play for Luke's Bar. Ooh, and then they have a Wong. So this is going to be an interesting like discard a hybrid build. Maybe they have a Helicarrier that they're going to discard with a Modok and just really ramp up that Collector. Now we can do something cheeky like the Rogue to steal the Wong's ability away. I think we go ahead and do that. We would get one of the two. Can they fight for the Sanctum? I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead and retreat out. It is for 1. I want to play this a little bit more safe rather than sorry. And a Wong deck, a Collector Wong deck, seems like it's going to be a high variance. And so maybe we can get the counter plays we need. Invisible Woman is going to allow us to counter the Dracula play, which would be phenomenal if we can pull it off. So the first location here is Mojo World. We start with Kitty Pryde and Angela. We have our Mysterio, our Hitmonkey, beautiful cards to start off this match. Now, depending on when they play, I think we probably snap into this one. We feel pretty confident about this. We can play the Angela if we want to look to grab initiative somewhere. We now get Sera, so we're gonna be able to burst the board on the last turn. So maybe we hold the Angela. I like the idea of ramping it up with the Angela, the Kitty Pryde, turn after turn, allowing us to get some additional reach. And so Wakanda will allow us to make sure that our cards won't be able to be destroyed. Theirs won't be able to be destroyed either, though. Killmonger will be able to be used to take out the negative ninja on both sides. Not huge for us. Let's continue pumping and pushing for Mojo World. We have Sera, so we're going to be able to flood on that last turn. I think that's going to be our biggest benefit. We can kind of manage initiative or priority. Morbius is going to get pretty big, especially if they have the Wong, the Modok to hit like a Helicarrier and then just really ramp up and reload their hand. But if we can get our Rogue, then we get a little bit of surprise benefit from that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the Nova into mid just so we can have it on the board. They do get their Apocalypse discard, so they get the first discard. Next turn, we're going to prioritize doing our Sera, and then we can flood on that last turn, hopefully giving us enough of a burst to be able to win. Now, a wave is going to be a huge counter to this deck, and so you have to look out for the wave plays. Otherwise, I think we're in a relatively decent spot. The Apocalypse becomes really large. A Modok gives them decent reach, but I think we have more, honestly. Let's go ahead and snap into it. It's time to get a little bit more aggressive. We're going to play the Sera into Wakanda, and then we're just going to just vomit stuff on the board on that last turn. We're gonna be able to have the Mysterios, the Hit Monkey. Ooh, so they go Dracula into Mojo World. It could get pretty big pretty quickly. And so, ooh. So the Rogue kind of helps pad that. So we can steal the Morbius ability away. We can go Killmonger. Maybe we don't go Killmonger. Do we need to go Killmonger? Mysterio, Mysterio, Mysterio. This allows us to do a Hit Monkey. And instead of Kitty Pryde, we can do Killmonger. All right, so I think we're giving up Mojo World. Because of the Dracula becomes really tough to overcome. The Morbius we're going to steal away, so that's handled. Actually, let's put the real Mysterio into mid. And then we'll play our Kitty Pryde to the right. I think they probably do like a MODOK into Shadowland or something similar. And that is where we're going to fight for. We're going to fight for the left and the middle, or the right and the middle location. Our Rogue does come down. It steals the Morbius. They play into Mojo World. What do they play over there? MODOK, maybe? To look to ramp up their other 2 cards, but that's not going to be able to do a whole lot for them. We have the 10 power Hit Monkey. The MODOK does come down. Even if it hits something like Wolverine, we have enough padding in mid and right, and we're going to get just a lot of benefit. They probably should have done MODOK into one of the other 2 lanes. That wouldn't quite have been enough either, but they would have had to hope for, I guess, Wolverine to go into the left. We will take it. We will gladly take it. That is a 4 cube off my chest. I can breathe a little bit easier now. I was super stressed going into this one. Let's see if we can continue that momentum and hopefully hold down our first victory in the Infinity Conquest. So this is our first run in the Infinity Conquest. Let's see if we can make it all the way until the end. Weird World gets very weird very quickly. We get Wong. We have our Angela, but they're going to start drawing our cards, unfortunately. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. The Raft comes down here. If they get our Kitty Pryde, they get some pretty big benefit. I don't know. I don't like this location at all. We will be able to scout some information about the opponent's deck though. So we can actually steal that Morbius away. And then Calling Wing, we don't have to steal it away just yet. But what we could, and then we can play Wong, Calling Wing. Wong on 4, Calling Wing on 5. That would allow us to get a double discard of Swarm. Morbius is going to be very large here. I think we snap into it. It feels wrong. Okay, we do get the retreat. It felt wrong, but we had just all of the pieces that we needed to make a relatively cohesive combination to flood on the last turn of the game. So let's go ahead and take the 1 cube. They are down to 5. They're down to 5 bars of health, and we are at 9. We know that doesn't always mean a lot. That could change very quickly. We get our Kitty Pryde. We have Bishop. We have Sarah. Beautiful resources for us. We haven't seen an Invisible Woman this since we started this run. Maybe we will, but we haven't yet. Killing is going to be great for the Bishop. It's also great for their Dracula, though, which becomes kind of scary pretty quickly. We have Iron Lad now, so we could use that as like a Hail Mary play if we wanted to. I don't know that we need to, but the potential is there. So Kiln comes down. Jotunheim is the last location, which is kind of unfortunate. We do get Rogue. Wow. Let's go ahead and play Bishop. Next turn, we can do Rogue and Kitty Pryde. I know we're not going to get any reach from the Morbius discards, but what I'm hoping is that by playing the Bishop, they're going to not think that we have the Rogue counter. And so maybe that will give us just that additional reach. The Wolverine, does it bounce into Space Throne? That would be beautiful. Oh, no, it does not. That would be beautiful for us, though. That was a risky play from him. We do get our Invisible Woman now. Let's go with this. We could always counter a Dracula in Jotunheim with the Invisible Woman, potential Shang-Chi. We would have to pull into the Shang-Chi, but it's a potential play. Wong comes down, and it may have been the Wong decision for us to not fight harder for this location, but it is what it is. All right, so right now they have the lead, but if we flood enough cards on the board on the last turn, then we'll be able to grab it back. So let's go Sarah into Jotunheim. On the last turn, we could do Invisible Woman plus a few other cards to make sure that we maintain that we can counter whatever they play. A double Modok discard is huge, hitting their Apocalypse twice, and then the Helicarrier to reload their hand. Luckily, we were able to pull their Rogue away, and so that is not going to be as beneficial for them. They will have a massive Apocalypse going into the last turn of the game, but they won't have their additional resources. And so, ooh, the swarms actually are kind of scary here, right? So we want to at least beat, depends what we top deck. Ooh, the Shang-Chi is so hard to pass up here. After the fact, Shang-Chi is incredibly difficult to pass up. If they do a swarm over here, Kitty Pryde will handle it. If they do 2 swarms here, that brings them up to 13. They go down to... brings them up to 13. They go down to 9. Invisible Woman would stop the decay on these 2. And so this is going to be 1, 2... this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So 6, 9 power. We don't have to worry about the decay of the Invisible Woman. And so I think this covers our bases. I kind of want to snap into it, but I think they would retreat if we did. So let's go with the surprise Shang-Chi, conserving some of our power in Jotunheim, because Invisible Woman will stop them from revealing until after the game ends, and so Jotunheim will already have taken effect. And so we are going to be able to take out their Apocalypse. We win the left lane, we win the middle location, we win the right location. We are sweeping the board. That brings them down to 3 bars of health relatively quickly. Let's hold this one out. Let's see if we can pull this one the rest of the way through. All right, so jumping into round 5, we are now in the high stakes rounds. The first location is Limbo, so the game will extend. I haven't seen a storm from Rude just yet. They could have it. That doesn't mean that they don't have it. But with the Wong, the Collector, I think they're going with a little bit different path. We know that one of their last cards is Helicarrier. I don't know what the very last card is, but I imagine it's something like Swordmaster is kind of that mid-range discard, just in case they don't have their Apocalypse to lean in on. Let's go ahead and throw Nova onto the board. They know that at this point, they know we have Nova. It's not going to... they don't have any 1-cost cards, so a Killmonger is not going to do anything for us. Deep Space is kind of wild. We don't have anything big. They could throw their Apocalypse there, which does get pretty scary pretty quick. So we're going to go ahead and throw Bishop into Limbo. They have the Morbius. We are going to immediately yank that ability away with our Rogue. I don't want them to have that scaling power. And so Rogue is going to steal that away, being able to be that little bit cheaper resource rather than the Enchantress. Enchantress could be used here as well. Just I have a soft spot for Rogue. I like the card. I like Rogue. We're going to Morbius this away. They could have Wong, and so they could have used this as a decoy. They do have the Wong. We may have made the Wong decision, but we will see. We will see if it was in the end. Iron Lad's not going to be fantastic here, because if it pulls Kitty Pryde, it's going to pull itself back in, and then we're going to have to play it once again to get the value on the board. If it pulls into Shang-Chi a little bit too early, Sera would be fantastic as a pull. Invisible Woman would also be great, but I cannot rely on that. Let's skip here. Let's skip here and see what happens. Dracula into Monster Metropolis is going to be big. It was Shang-Chi, and so we dodged the bullet there. Now it comes down to crunch time. We're gonna dig with our Iron Lad. We have a 1 out of 3 shot. Invisible Woman is fine. That would allow us to do Invisible Woman plus Shang-Chi here to take out the Dracula. Sera would be fine. We could flood a little bit easier. So they go with a double drop in the left lane. So we copy. Well, RIP. RIP to the Iron Lad. So they discard their Chavez and their Apocalypse. So we know that they have Chavez as a consistency driver as well. But I think Chavez and Helicarrier are their last 2 cards here. So we know their whole deck, even though it's not reflecting here, we know their entire deck. we're gonna jump out of this one. I learned my lesson last time. That 1 bar of health to see the end and maybe get the right call is not worth the risk. We're gonna jump out of this one. We're gonna take the 2 cube loss, and then let's jump into round number 6. See if we can bring this one the rest of the way home with a little bit better setup. The Iron Lad is to really, it's a Hail Mary call. If you have just a handful of cards left in your deck and you need the Shang-Chi play, you need the Sera Counter, it can give you some pretty big benefit, but honestly, it's replaceable. We have our Kitty Pryde, so now is as good of time as any. The Nova into Vormir on the last turn could be pretty big. Sokovia is not going to allow us to do that, and it does discard their Wolverine, which then jumps into Sokovia. Unfortunate for us, but it is what it is. And so Morbius does come down, and I'm sure you guys know what that means. We're gonna hit it with a rogue at some point. I do want to go ahead and do something like Angela and Kitty Pryde to start buffing up our Angela. Next turn we can go with the rogue. They did Morbius on 2 into skipping on 3, so I assume they probably have a Wong that they're waiting to use. We now get Invisible Woman, which is going to be fantastic as a way to counter their Dracula play. Wherever that ends up being, we're able to counter the Dracula play. And so let's go ahead and go with the Iron Lad, or let's go with the Rogue and the Kitty Pryde to enable Atlantis. I assume Wong goes into Atlantis. That's fine. That's fine. This is the biggest scaling power, especially with a Helicarrier build. This is one of the biggest proponents for their secondary power. And so Wong comes down at Atlantis. We get Bishop. We have Kitty Pryde. Left in our deck, we have some decent cards. I think we go Iron Lad here. We're really shooting for and hoping for a Sera pool. Mysterio is honestly fine. Killmonger's also fine because we play Kitty Pryde after the Iron Lad comes down. I think it's worth it. We're worth it. Iron Lad ends up hitting Mysterio. Okay, so Mysterio is going to be good with the Hit Monkey. It doesn't do anything for our Iron Lad, unfortunately, but we will be able to get a... It's not even a great Hit Monkey, is it? They get a pretty big collector, but they don't get the Apocalypse discard, right? Or did they and I just missed it? No, they just did a double Calling Wing, so it hit Swarm twice. They have 4 Swarms to play. What's their big finisher power? Okay, they ended up retreating. I was trying to figure out where their Chavez would potentially be. With all of the Swarms, they didn't have a lot of space here, which was a good thing, but we had some pretty big burst. We had the Hit Monkey, we had the Mysterio, we had the Kitty Pryde, and I think this is what we were going to end up going with. The Kitty Pryde over here to make sure we had that one padded. The Mysterio plus the big Hit Monkey would give us about 14 power in this location. I was back and forth on the Kitty Pryde. They do go down to 1 bar of health. Let's jump into the next round, see if we can finish this one out in 7. We have the Kitty Pryde, we have the Angela starting off. Beautiful, beautiful value. The Hela comes in from the hub, not going to do much for us. We're not going to play it, but it's there. It's there as that comfort play. Let's go ahead and prioritize our Kitty Pryde. The Nexus is big. We could always hit an Invisible Woman into the Shang-Chi, the Invisible Woman into the Shang-Chi. We can also do Angela into Kitty Pryde into continuing to buff that one up, and then finishing it off with the Invisible Woman and the counter play. And so we'll see. We'll see if we're able to do that. A Rogue would be big against the Morbius, but we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Let's go Angela. Let's go Kitty Pryde. And we don't have Rogue for once to be able to steal their power away. We do have our Iron Lad to dig as deep into our deck as possible, and we'll see. Bishop is not bad. Bishop's definitely not a bad call. Let's go Bishop, Kitty Pryde. We know that they don't have a counterplay. They don't have Shang-Chi. They don't have Enchantress, which is a wild decision. Going into the Infinite Conquest, I feel like I thought about so many different decks to bring into this thing, and I had to have some kind of counterplay in case the opponent gets just an absurdly large, in case they go with like the Black Panther into Arnim Zola, into Odin route. Ooh, they do hit our Kitty Pryde with Killmonger, so very big. The Killmonger came from the hub, and so kudos to them. Let us Hail Mary our Iron Lad here. Could hit Rogue, could hit Shang-Chi, could hit Nova, which would do us no good, but it could also hit Sera. So it's the 1 out of 4 chance. We're gonna go ahead and take it and see if maybe we can get some additional reach. It does hit the Sera, so we're able to dig just a little bit deeper into our deck to find a way to try to get this counterplay in place. So they discard their Dracula, their Wong, their Helicarrier, and so their Morbius is relatively large here. They also get their Swarms discarded. Oof, this looks like it is going to be a tough win for sure. I think the best way that we can go about this is Hit Monkey mid, Mysterio mid, that's going to go here and here, and then we want to make sure we play as many cards as humanly possible. I'm going to stack them into 1 lane. That is what we're going to try to win, is the 1 lane, because with them having additional Swarms, it gets a little bit scary. They can spread out their power pretty decently We're going to try to burst here and overcome them here. If this was not already at the max stakes, we would retreat out because we don't have a great shot here. We don't have our counterplays. We have the Invisible Woman, but we don't have the Shang-Chi. If we did, this would be hands down, very easy win. Even the Rogue would be able to do us a solid, but it is one of the last cards left in our deck, and that is okay. So let's go with the burst of a play here. See if it's able to overcome their Chavez, their Swarm, and then a Swarm in the left location. So Hit Monkey comes down. It's big, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be big enough. We do have the Angela that continues to scale, the Bishop that continues to scale. The Mysterio is going to have that 4 power in mid that reveals after the fact, and so we might just barely have this win in the bag. Oh my gosh, by 1 power we win the Nexus. That allows us to win the hub by 1 as well, and that extends our lead in Clintar. Absolutely wild way to end that game. They had additional swarms though, right? No, they only hit the swarm once. They hit Helicarrier once. So what's left here is the Helicarrier resources. And so with that, we are going to, in 7 rounds, close out the game, close out the first round of our Infinite Conquest grind against Rude, and we are that much closer to the Uatu Infinite border. Let's go ahead and jump straight into round number 2. All right, so queuing up for round number 2, our Sera counter kind of did what it needed to do. We'll see if it can continue to allow us to find ways to win. And so our next opponent is Riddle Me This. Let's see if we can do it. We have the Invisible Woman, we have Sera. So if it looks like they are running something where, ooh, the Nebula is not terrible. We have Killmonger in our deck. It's not the worst thing. Not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to go ahead and do Invisible Woman. We then do Bishop. We hide the Iron Lad into this location. And then we do Sera on 5. And then flood whatever we have, depending on what we draw. We flood from there. Death's Domain is unfortunate. The Nebula is going to be able to scale. But it's unfortunate because right now we do not have our counter in play. We don't have the Killmonger. We need the Killmonger to be able to win this location. They do snap. I think it's just because they feel like they have Death's Domain locked down. I almost want to snap back. We don't have it. Whenever we draw Killmonger, we will snap back. That is my bartering with myself. We could do Bishop here. Yeah, let's do Bishop. We're going to do Bishop over Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is nice, but I like having the Bishop on the board. Plus, it kind of vaguely veils what kind of deck we're running. So Yondu, it's their Storm. Okay, so this is a control. Probably high evolutionary control, I imagine. Maybe we can make this one. Maybe we can make this one work. So the Nova is big. It won't reveal until the end of the game. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Let's go Kitty Pryde. We're going to go Nova into Death's Domain. That won't pop until the end of the game, but it will allow us to buff up the rest of our cards, which is pretty cool. So Kitty Pryde is going to come down. We have the Nova. We have some counterplays. We have our Sera. Iron Lad we can use as a Hail Mary to dig for that Killmonger if we don't draw into it by the end of the game. The Juggernaut comes down, and so it pushes our card over into the X-Mansion. Could have been bad. It could have went over into Death's Domain. We do get our Killmonger now, and so that is all that we need. I think we're fairly confident here, right? Let's go Sera. There's no way they go Wave, right? Wave would be brutal. That's fine. We're going to snap into it. We have the Sera play. We're going to be able to flood on this last turn. We have the Killmonger for that flood that we can play before the Kitty Pryde comes down. It will kill our Yondu. Perfectly fine. It's going to kill their Nebula, giving us an easy win in Death's Domain. The Professor X lock comes down. So they are running a high evolutionary control. No, not high. Okay, yeah, it has to be high evolutionary control, right? So we lose this location. We lost Initiative, which is beautiful. They lost Storm. Their last play is always Evolved Hulk, right? Has to be. We could dig with Iron Lad, but that's a 1 out of 3 shot. We don't have Initiative, so we can steal that away, leaving just a 12 power resource to overcome. We could do that with something like Rogue plus Iron Lad. Rogue plus Hit Monkey plus Kitty Pryde plus Killmonger. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3. It's a 6 power play. Gives our Bishop a decent reach. The Nova helps us get additional reach here as well. This is for 8 cubes right off the jump, which is wild. Absolutely wild. Rogue, I think, will give us that reach from the Evolved Hulk in the X-Mansion location. No, it's a Dr. Doom. Very interesting. We don't have anything to steal with the Rogue. Our Hit Monkey comes down. Right now, they have 4 power in the Doombot, but with Nova destroying, that will leave our Invisible Man at 4. We're going to have the Killmonger come down, take away their Nebula, and so then it comes down to a point differential because we're going to tie in that middle location after Nebula is no longer there. And just like that, we steal 8 cubes away from the high evolutionary control heavy build, and that puts them down very, very drastically, very early. Let's go ahead and jump into round number 2. Oh my gosh. Let's jump into round number 2. We know a decent amount about their deck. It's a decent deck. We just got lucky. We got lucky that we had the right plays at the right place and the right time. So we don't have anything for turn 1. We have Invisible Woman that we can use to hide or veil some of our cards. We get Kitty Pryde now, which is going to be pretty decent. We can play it into Mirror Island every single turn. That is going to give us some additional power in the Kitty Pryde play. They have their Nebula that they throw down into Asteroid M, but we know very well that we have the Killmonger that we're looking for. The Juggernaut play on 3 we have to look out for. Playing around the potential Juggernaut in Mirror Island, I'm going to play Kitty Pryde into Fisk Tower. I'd rather be safe than sorry. This could also be Storm. Storm makes a lot of sense here as well. We don't have Bishop. We don't have Angela. Their Storm pulls over into Asteroid M. Our Bishop would actually pull over into Asteroid M as well. So we would need something like an Iron Lad here to be able to dig into our deck. We don't get it, do we? No. Okay, well. We're not going to be able to burst enough. Their Juggernaut would pull out of this location. Do they have anything that's going to put power into this middle? We could do an Angela and a Mysterio, leaving us at 6 power here. Cyclops wouldn't do it. Is that worth the risk, though? No, they have Dr. Doom that they could use later. Dr. Doom, maybe a Jeff as well. We are going to retreat out of this one. I think it's a little bit safer. We do have a sizable lead, but I don't want to give that up. I want to continue to play as meticulously as I can. And so let's jump straight into round number 3. We start off with Kitty Pryde. We have our Killmonger. We have Hit Monkey, which is going to be phenomenal in Camartage. However, Dr. Doom in Camartage is also very big for him. I think we're going to stick this one out. I know that Dr. Doom here is phenomenal value for him. Maybe Camartage has something else to say about it. I'm going to go ahead and play Kitty Pryde into mid, just in case they do a Wasp here. I don't think they will, but just in case. They play for a Daredevil into Los Diablos space, so they'll be able to get a read on 5. Danger Room is great for them, not great for us. Go ahead and play Kitty Pryde, Angela and Kitty Pryde, and try to get a read on this opponent. They could have Storm, but they could also have Cyclops. And so Cyclops isn't going to scale this turn. They've only soaked 1 turn so far. So they're not leaning super heavy into the Evolved Hulk build. I think they're leaning more into like the Dr. Doom version. So I know that they're likely going to scale and buff up their Cyclops in mid, but I want to enable our Angela. I want to continue to enable Kitty Pryde. And I think the middle location is the place to do that. So the Juggernaut comes down, moves our Kitty Pryde out. It actually goes behind the Invisible Woman. Since we played it first, it's not going to be stuck behind it, but that's okay. They go ahead and risk their Nebula in Danger Room. They could have a Professor X lock that they're going to angle towards using in the Danger Room location. Let's go with this for now. We don't have the reduction from our Sera. They've already max snapped, so there's no point in retreating out at this point. But we do have our Killmonger, our Hit Monkey. We'll have our Kitty Pryde. Really depends on where they play. And so if they lock in the right location, the Danger Room, with a Professor X, then we don't have to worry about that one. They use a Spiderman into the ruins, and so that could potentially ruin us. A Dr. Doom would allow them to safely position 5 power into the Danger Room, and so we're going to have to gamble. We're going to have to gamble for it. So if we're gambling, let's do something like this. We go Nova, we go Killmonger, and then we go Kitty Pryde. Actually, no, that makes 0 sense. We go Nova, we go Killmonger, we go Kitty Pryde. If we're going to fight for Danger Room, we're going to fight for Danger Room. We're also going to push decently into this middle location. So if they go Dr. Doom, great. If they don't, then we might tie in the ruins with the okay, so the Doctor Doom and the Wasp in Danger Room. Yeah, the Wasp comes down. Does Danger Room destroy it? Please? Okay, it went away. That one power could be the difference. So let's go with the Nova. We're going to take out their Nebula. It all comes down to if our Kitty Pryde is going to stick here. Let's hope for the best. It's a 25% chance. We have a 1 out of 4 chance to lose, a 3 out of 4 chance to win, and we do hold down against the Danger Room decision. We were able to hold down round number 2 against Riddle Me This. We are going, I guess, 3 rounds, but match number 2 against Riddle Me This, and that is going to be 1 step closer to that infinity ticket. And so we are now going to be jumping into battle number 3. Let's see if we can hold this one down. All right, so jumping straight in with the same deck, the Sera Counter kinda deck, where we have some additional reach. We have some cool tech with the Invisible Woman to be able to hide our Shang-Chi, hide our Rogue, hide a Killmonger, our counter tools, whatever we need to, we can hide behind the Invisible Woman. And so we have our Kitty Pryde starting on turn 1. Whoa, Elysium is wild here. We do have our Invisible Woman, but right now we're just going to play Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is free every single turn. We're going to play Kitty Pryde and see what kind of deck they're running. With the Jeff, I imagine there's a Professor X. I imagine Lockdown is probably the most easy to comfortably run here. So we have to look out on turn 4 for a potential Professor X play. And Jeff can also move over and scale into that direction. Well, we're going to go Kitty Pryde, just Kitty Pryde again. Ooh. Spider-Ham does hit. Oh, ooh. Oh no. This is a Galactus list, yeah? So actually, nobody can play anything this turn. I don't think they meant to do that. But we're both going to skip here. Bar Sinister gets really wild, especially with our Kitty Pryde. So let's go ahead and duplicate the Kitty Pryde. We're going to start putting power on the board as well. So Bishop, we can do our Nova. We can do we do Killmonger now? Or do we just do something like Invisible Woman now? We can do the Kitty Pryde. All of those will pull back into our hand. We can play them for free, generating additional value for the Bishop each turn. We have Killmonger, so if we need to kill a few off in Bar Sinister, we can, to continue to push power for that Bishop play. They snapped, but I think we're okay here. Let's go ahead and lock in the 2 cubes right now. Sandman. Okay. Never mind. I lied. We're not okay. I'm glad we didn't snap back. The Sandman ramp deck is going to be tough to overcome. With a Sera counter deck, it's going to be very tough. It's going to be a tough one. I don't know. I feel like this is probably one of the harder matches for our deck, especially without the Enchantress. We can't even take out the Sandman if we wanted to. All right, we're gonna continue to play like Kitty Prydes into Elysium. That way we can generate a draw. I don't know what we'd be hoping for, honestly. Shang-Chi to take out something big. I don't know. They play a Doctor Doom, which is devastating. They are able to move. Oh no, they won't be able to move their Jeff out. But just, I mean, what? They dropped the beat down on us. So this is 6 plus 5, so it's 11. Actually got kind of close-ish. We could play more than one card. This is a no-brainer. This is easy. Unfortunately, we're going to retreat out. I don't know how we overcome the Sandman. We're going to have to leverage Invisible Woman, hiding some of our big power bursty counters or plays. I don't know that we can do it, honestly. I'm doubting our abilities here. The Sandman counters us so heavily with a Sera counter deck, and it feels awful. All right, let's go Nova. We have the Angela, we have the Killmonger. Unless locations just look fantastic for us, this becomes really tough. But no time like the present to try to find a way to persevere and win. Let's go with the Angela. They do hit Spider-Ham, which is going to hit our Iron Lad. Oy. Okay, so Fisk Tower's not great for us. Not great for them either. Let's go Bishop. That's going to set up our ability to do a potential like Mysterio. So they go Jeff. They won't be able to move Jeff into Fisk Tower, so that's at least an added bonus. We get Sera. I'm very scared to use the Sera. If they go with the Sandman ramp, Big House becomes tough. Big House becomes tough for them to play for. Dr. Doom could do it. Let's lock in the Killmonger behind the Fisk Tower lane, and then we'll navigate from there. Wait. Oh my gosh. I thought it was behind Invisible Woman, and so I didn't think it was going to reveal just yet. Oh man, what are we doing? What are we doing with ourselves? Let's go Sera into Fisk Tower. We can always move it into middle on turn 6. If they drop a Sandman, it's going to have to be like the only thing that they drop here. And so then, oh no, the Black Panther. Okay. They do have the Black Panther tech. Unfortunate. Black Panther and Arnim Zola put 16 power over here. We can't overcome the 16 here. They could also just hit this with an Odin. And there's not much that we'd be able to do at that point. But let's go Rogue. The Mysterio will come here. It will buff this one up just a little bit. It's for 1 additional cube. This is probably as good of a shot as we're going to have. Do they go Arnim Zola or do they go Odin? I kind of hope they go Arnim Zola. Where do they go here? Odin? Arnim Zola. Arnim Zola. So they do win the left lane. With the real Mysterio being placed in mid, the very oddly specific read, we are going to be able to overcome the power in mid, the power in right. We get 2 cubes. We're going to have to hope that they get bad draws. I think that is our only way for victory here. We're going to have to take some calculated risks where we can. If their Black Panther gets too big too quickly, we do have the Shang-Chi to try to counter it. But that's still a prayer. So they play, okay. Spider-Ham is so frustrating. Okay, Spider-Ham gets destroyed in Danger Room. It hits our Rogue. Not that they have any like solid ongoings that we've seen so far. We could play in the Vibranium. Vibranium would be great to play into Danger Room. But if they get a Sandman, then it's just going to have clogged up our hand and our deck for really nothing. So we'll hide the Killmonger behind the Invisible Woman. And then we'll go from there. Ooh. Wave is scary. I mean, the Iron Lad tech, it's something. Probably not great, but it's something. So if they go Sandman here, that's really restrictive. Magneto is a great Shang-Chi target. We should have this lane. Ooh. Speaking of Shang-Chi targets, beautiful. I almost want to snap into this. So they snapped. Do they have an Arnim Zola? Are they going to play Arnim Zola on... Oh, no, they can't do it on 5 because they haven't ramped. They just used Wave. So let's go Shang-Chi. We'll go Nova into mid. I know that Sera is going to be technically the better play, but I think this is the route we're going to go with. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. This is going to take out our Shang-Chi out of business. So if they have the Black Panther... Okay, so the Sandman play. Sandman play we're okay with. We're taking out the Magneto. We know that we have a substantial advantage in Kiln already. And so a Dr. Doom is not going to give them enough power in that location. And so how do we win this one? Oh, how do we win this one? Is it the Vibranium in Danger Room? That's going to be 5. So they go Dr. Doom. We win here. They do a Hail Mary risk. We potentially win here. I think we're fine. This is for all the marbles. This is live or die type stuff. Oh, okay. Well, it is what it is. Let's go Vibranium Danger Room. We're going to make sure that that doesn't get destroyed. We have the Nova. The Dr. Doom comes down, pushes into mid, pushes into the right lane. Our Nova, our Killmonger comes down. The Vibranium shouldn't destroy. We tie in Danger Room, though. The Iron Lad should give us a big enough lead, right? That we are able to hold down against the Electro Ramp Sandman deck that I didn't think we had a chance, a shot in the world for. The Vibranium from the Vibranium mines, allowing us to get a guaranteed lock in Danger Room that couldn't be destroyed. They did gamble with the Doc Ock in Danger Room instead of Vibranium mines, I guess to try to get that additional reach over here in case we got the Vibranium, but our Nova comes in absolutely clutch for us. Oh my gosh, that was 3 rounds. But that could have very easily extended to 8, and it could have been a very back and forth, grueling battle, grueling match. I'm glad we were able to come out on top with the big 8-cuber. Let's go ahead and see that animation for our infinite climb. Going into battle number 4, we have 3 down, 2 to go. Let's see if we can do it. All right, so jumping straight into battle number 4. Let's queue it up, see if we can make this happen. That was tough. That was, I don't know why, but this makes me so nervous. Next up, we have Sandwich. Let's see if maybe they're a top chef is what their title says. I know that you guys can't see it, but they're a top chef. Superflow is interesting. It's very early on. We have no idea what kind of deck the opponent's running. We either Angela or Invisible Woman. I think we go Invisible Woman into mid. Let's see what they're running. Okay, so the Nova, the Deadpool. Ooh, that is beautiful. If they end up going with Deadpool on the last turn, we have Killmonger to counteract that play. So let's see. Let's see if we can hold this one down. A Venom here is also awfully wild. Incredibly wild. We have a couple of ways that we can counter it, though. So we don't need to rush our Nova just yet, but I intend to probably do a Nova into behind the Invisible Woman. We have our Angela in the right lane. We'll be able to play Sera. We're looking for those counter cards. Those are going to be big. The Killmonger is going to be big. The Shang-Chi in mid, especially against a Venom, against a Null, and then Rogue in this matchup could be so critical in us getting a surprising 8-cube match or 8-cube victory where they thought maybe an Enchantress, but instead we Rogue it and steal it away for our own. Collapse Mine is... we have the extra energy, so it's kind of unfortunate, but it's fine. It's fine. We're going to go ahead and skip here. We want to make sure that they do not armor this location, change this location, and stick us with rocks. So we are going to skip here and see. With the Deadpool, I'm not so worried about Galactus. Nimrod, potentially. Null, definitely. And we don't have any of our counter cards just yet. We have 3 more turns to draw them. Honestly, I'm okay with sticking this one out. They did snap relatively early, but I'm okay with sticking it out. They're going to have a free death to use, so they get a lot of benefit from some of these locations. We have the Iron Lad that will be able to dig deeper into our deck. So if we don't draw one of those key cards, we could try to use it to draw into a Rogue, into a Shang-Chi, a Killmonger. So let's go with Sera here. That way we can reduce the cost of the rest of our cards. I don't think they're going to have like a Professor X, a Spider-Man to lock us out of a location. And so we don't have to worry about that as much. They have the Deathlock. I'm still expecting a Venom at some point. This is going to end up being a big Deadpool, big Venom and Nidavellir. Mysterio is not what we wanted to see, unfortunately. All right, let's go Bishop. We go Nova, Iron Lad, and then we'll be able to flood on the last turn. No matter what we draw, we'll be able to flood. Hopefully we get something like a Shang-Chi or a Killmonger, and then we can shoot for the other one with our Iron Lad. I don't know. It becomes really tough really quick. So the Bucky Barnes, I assume this is where the Venom comes down. The Bucky Barnes, the Deadpool, and then the Venom. Huge Venom. Top decking into Shang-Chi here is going to be a game changer. 16 powered Deadpool is daunting as well. Ugh, okay. That is a kitty pride. That is not what we wanted to top deck into by any means. Oh no. We're going to lose the 2 cubes. So we have a guarantee that we get one of our counter tools here. From the Iron Lad, we get either Rogue, Killmonger, Shang-Chi. Fantastic. What's not fantastic is all of the rest of these locations. Let's go ahead and jump out. I think we have a shot against this one. With our Invisible Woman, with our Rogue to steal away a last turn Null, Shang-Chi to counter it, or her Iron Lad to dig deeper into our deck. I think we have a shot. We just happened to not draw into the right components in that match or in that game. So let's jump into round number 2. We're down 2 cubes early. Feels bad. There's always time to come back. This tower, we're not going to be moving anything, so it's fine. Let's go ahead and play our Angela there. We're not going to play anything into Hala. I assume that it eventually gets destroyed. I assume we probably would lose this location. Lintar is going to merge everything that was over there. We do get our Rogue. We have Mysterio, Hitmonkey. We're not going to play anything just yet. Depending on what we draw next turn, maybe we throw down Iron Lad and hope for the best, but I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on what we top deck here. So the Nova. We have some okay resources to lean in on. Let's go Iron Lad. See if we can hit a Sera. On 5, we could play another Sera, and then we could just flood our counter cards while probably dropping initiative. That's going to be the dream. That would be the ideal line, the ideal play. So they do get the Nova, the Deadpool, the Venom to trigger, and so they're going to start elevating their cards very early on here. Iron Lad hits Invisible. Okay. Invisible Woman's fine. We're okay with the Invisible Woman being hit here. That allows us to hide like a Killmonger. I guess the double Invisible Woman allows us to do some kind of crazy things. It's going to go by order that we play them because we have 2 Invisible Womans on the board. or Invisible Women on the board. We're going to go Hit Monkey mid. We're going to play for the left lane. Killmonger would be okay if we top deck, because then we actually, no, it wouldn't. We wouldn't be able to play both. We would have to make a decision. So they take out our Kitty Pryde. Okay, perfect. We did not want that on the top of our deck anyways. And so they don't get any additional value for a null. We get our Sera. I think we lose this one, but I think we're going to give it a shot. It's only one additional cube here. We're going to try. We have the counter plays. I don't know why they asked for a snap. Okay, the Deadpool, the Nova, or the Deadpool and the Death both into mid. Unfortunate. The Hit Monkey is not going to be able to... we're going to get a big Hit Monkey, but it's not going to be able to match like that much reach. We take out their Venom here, but it's... Oh, wait. Maybe it is. Oh, no, it is. We take out the left lane with our Shang-Chi. The 4-power Mysterio in mid is enough to grab that win. Oh my gosh. I thought I counted ourselves out of that one. I didn't think we had that one. The amount of reach that like a Hit Monkey Mysterio type of combo has is insane. We will go ahead and take the 2 cubes, and that evens us up. Let's jump into round number 3. We were not confident about that one. This one we have our Angela, Bishop, Sera. We also have Kitty Pryde starting out. So great resources for us. We'll have to be aware of our initiative, knowing that they have the Killmonger play. But so far, our cards are looking incredibly good. The Invisible Woman is also fantastic here. Depending on what this location turns into, I think we're in a really good spot. Let's play just the Nova, or let's play just the Angela. I know we could do a Kitty Pryde, but we don't want to grab initiative. We want to make sure we're maintaining not having that initiative. We could play the Bishop into mid now, and we have our Kitty Pryde to play every turn. After that, ooh, now we can actually do both because of the Super Flow. The second game in a row that we're getting Super Flow. So there's a small chance that it bounces into the mirror dimension. But I think we want to play Bishop into mid so that we have that ability to pump that power. So let's go Bishop, let's go Kitty Pryde. We don't have to worry about Killmonger this turn. Maybe next turn, but honestly, I think we're okay. The Wolverine comes down, the Carnage comes down. Hopefully it bounces their Wolverine into the right lane to take away their extra energy. No, it bounces it straight back into mid. Ooh, that's brutal. So that is a lot of power to potentially overcome. We have a lot of reach, potentially do it, but it's still tough. Especially with both of these being big house. They could have... Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Let's do Sera. That's going to allow us to try to hide a Shang-Chi into one of these lanes. I assume if they get enough cards destroyed that they hide their death into the big house. And so Killmonger comes down, takes out the Nova, takes out the Deadpool. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough round, just all over. So we played Sera. We lost the extra energy, but we get the reduction, which I think is going to be more valuable for us in general. Let's go Kitty Pryde here. Honestly, we could save everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and play Nova, and then we're going to save everything else. We can get a pretty explosive Hit Monkey, a pretty explosive Angela, Kitty Pryde, Bishop to try to compete for these locations. With Sera, we can actually try to hit a Shang-Chi in this location. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we draw into Shang-Chi, this is the way that we do it. So this is what we're aiming to go with. And they snapped. We're going to go ahead and stick this one out, though. So they have the Deadpool. They have the Sabretooth. But they don't have a destruction for it just yet. I assume that their death is pretty big here. Or pretty cheap, right? They have... I guess not that cheap, yeah? It's all right. Killmonger is incredibly big. Oh, no. So let's go... I feel like we have to do something like Hit Monkey, Mysterio... Killmonger, Kitty Pryde here. Let's do the real Mysterio in mid, though. Unfortunately, Nova is not going to buff these 2 cards up. But I think that's just the risk that we're willing to take here. This is for 4 cubes. I think we're in an okay spot. We don't have initiative, so we don't have to worry about their cards. Our Kitty Pryde is going to be safe from our Killmonger, from their Killmonger. Let's roll with it. We have a pretty explosive last turn here. And, ooh, the Venom into mid consolidates their cards. It bounces Wolverine over to the right. And so our fake Mysterio over the... Oh, no, it bounces it straight back into mid. Oh, that's so much power to overcome that I think last time we were able to do it. I don't think we're going to be able to pull that same miracle off twice. So we kill their Deadpool in the left lane though, but we have our Kitty Pryde and not the Hit Monkey. And so the Kitty Pryde, actually, oh my gosh, it does it. Oh my gosh, it's able to get there. Oh my goodness. The amount of burst that this deck has is insane. We actually tie the middle location as well. We win the left lane, we win the right lane, we tie mid. That's a nasty amount of power that we were able to pump out on that last turn. So they're down to 4 cubes relatively quickly here. They're playing it very aggressively. I'm trying to play it as cautiously as I can because these could really easily flip either way. So a Teelan comes down. We have our Angela, we have our Kitty Pryde. So we have some decent resources. We'll make sure that Kitty Pryde is on the board at the end of turn 3. So we want to make sure that we don't get an issue. Ooh, they hit our Sera, which is our kind of burst enabler. Unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. The double Kitty Pryde though could be pretty big. Let's go double Angela. This one may be a retreat because they're going to be able to just like a Venom, a Carnage. All of those cards get really absurdly large, absurdly quickly. We'll go Invisible Woman in the left lane. We're going to do a double Kitty Pryde here. So they get the Bucky Barnes, the double Bucky Barnes. This is going to be huge for them. If at any point they snap in this one, I think we have to retreat. Ooh, they do have Null. And so we haven't seen the Null just yet. Maybe we can steal that location with a Rogue. They haven't seen our Rogue come down. And so if we, I actually haven't, I don't think I've seen it this game. There it is. And so we have the Rogue to steal away the Null's ability. At that point, it just comes down to fighting for one additional lane. So we have the Nova, the Killmonger. Kind of hope we draw into Shang-Chi at a certain point. Shang-Chi hidden in this lane could help us win this one hands down. Iron Lad. Let's go ahead and gamble the Iron Lad. We're going to Iron Lad, see what the next card... Actually, we only have 2 cards left because we were able to get rid of so many of our cards, right? So instead of doing the Iron Lad, I don't think we need to. Because we were able to play so many cards. They destroyed 2 of our cards with their Yondu. No, just 1 of our cards with Yondu, which was the Sera, allowing us to more consistently draw into what we need to. We can make sure that Iron Lad is Shang-Chi. But because we don't have that additional burst, we're going to do Rogue. We're going to go ahead and do the Rogue now. The Carnage, I assume they're pretty cautious about a Venom play. Maybe not. Oh, if they absorb that right lane. Okay, they don't. Wolverine bounces over there. It is now capped out. We do steal the Null away. We should have snapped into this. Oh, what are we thinking? Okay, well, it is what it is. So we're going to have the Kitty Prydes come back in. We have the Rogue stealing away the Null, which is massive, massive value for us. And we should have snapped into it before. I wish we had. What do we draw into? We draw into Mysterio. So we know that Iron Lad is guaranteed to hit the Shang-Chi. So it's going to go here and then here. With Killmonger coming down, I don't want to play the Kitty Prydes. They're just going to end up getting destroyed. So instead, we're going to play our Hit Monkey. It's only going to be a 2 power, but we have so much power in Sakara that it's not going to matter. And so they do retreat. We should have snapped into that. Hindsight, knowing that they didn't know about the Rogue, that it was going to be such a big surprise play, we should have snapped into it. But it is what it is. They're down to 3 bars of health. We are sitting fairly healthy at 8, but anything could happen. It is anybody's game. Dream Dimension makes it tough for us to do a Sera. Doesn't really hurt them all that much. They don't have any 5 costs that they lean really heavily on. Oh my goodness, the Sinister London is wild. I think we just go super heavy in like veiling the mystery. We can go Invisible Woman. We have the Shang-Chi that we're going to be able to hide behind Invisible Woman. We have a potential Rogue, and they're just not going to know what our play or plan or play line is going to be. So I like it. I like it. Let's go Angela, Kitty Pryde. Next turn, I think we go ahead and do like a Bishop and a Kitty Pryde, both into the left lane. On turn 5, we are able to slot in a Shang-Chi into the Sinister London location. What we want to do is be able to control it enough where we can guarantee where those cards are going to go, so that whenever they have those big power plays, we can make sure that we are getting as much benefit from them. Oh my goodness. Dream Dimension now gets copied in the right lane, and so that is going to be a massive, massive hit to what we can do. So let's go Shang-Chi now. Next turn, we'll barely be able to do like a Kitty Pride, and we'll go from there. Oof, tough. That's rough. The Nova. Okay, so the Killmonger makes sense. Okay, so they destroy their Deadpool. They destroy Nova and Nova, and so both Wolverines are going to get buffed up substantially here. The Saber Teeth are going to be below Shang-Chi range, so we have to worry about that. Oof. Let's go with the 5-cost Rogue. Just in case they do a double null, they're going to go full-on counter sweep here. If we don't hit anything of value, then this becomes super lackluster. And that is my worry, is that we're not going to be able to hold down most of this. So the Deathlock does come down. We'll see what we're able to make happen. The Wolverine bounces. The Deathlock jumps over into the left lane, destroys Wolverine again, goes over into the right lane at 8 power. There is a chance that Iron Lad pulls into Killmonger, but I think that's okay. That's not the worst of our troubles. So they did snap. I think it's okay. They snapped, but it's only one additional cube, so it was the same thing as if we had stayed anyways. So the death comes down. Beautiful. The Sabretooth is big for him. The Deadpool, pretty big for him. We have the Shang-Chi that's going to take out that death in mid, and then we will go from there depending on what Iron Lad hits. It could be Killmonger, it could be Hitmonkey, it could be Mysterio. We don't know. We have the Shang-Chi counter. Can it go into the right lane? That would be beautiful for us. It does go into the right lane. It helps us swing that lane. We have the Rogue come down. The Iron Lad hits the Killmonger, takes out both of their Deadpools, our Kitty Pride, and our Nova, buffing up that left lane a little bit. It's going to be a very, very close, depending on where Iron Lad snaps and jumps over into. It does jump over into mid, and we do pull down the victory. Oh my God. So 2 bars of health down. We get the Iron Lad, the very lucky break from the Iron Lad hitting the Killmonger to swing the game back in our favor. Oof, that was lucky. That is a 5-round victory against Sandwich in the Infinite Conquest, bringing us that much closer to the Infinity Uatu avatar. And so let's go ahead and jump straight into battle number 4. What a wild ride. All right, jumping straight into the last battle of our Infinity Conquest run. Let's see if we can hold it down. We have the Sera Counter kind of list that has... Okay, they didn't need to put that kind of pressure on it. Then we get the warning, final battle. If you win this one, you will earn a copy of your current avatar. I get why they did it. That way, if you need to change your avatar, if you've already won a couple, that puts so much more pressure on it. Let's go ahead and enter. We're going to enter the final battle of our Infinity Conquest. See if we're able to hold it down. See if we can get a day 1 first Infinity Conquest run victory. All right, so 3-minute wait, and we are in. This is the final match, the final countdown. Pressure's on. And so we are going up against WCG, world-class gamer right here. Their Spider-Ham, it hits our Sera. Oof, that is not great for us. This tower is okay. We have our Angel, we have our Bishop to start enabling some cards. With the Spider-Ham hitting Sera, I mean, that's tough, because that is our burst capability. But Crimson Cosmos is also one that we don't want to reduce the cost of our cards too much. So let's go Bishop into Fisk Tower. We're going to get some insight into what they're playing. Okay, so we are going against the High Evolutionary Lockjaw rotation deck. And so they hit the Lockjaw rotation on 3 into a Mjolnir. So they're going to have several 0-cost cards. Hopefully they get a bad Clog here. I mean, like we could... Is there any way that we win 2 locations though? Like we could easily counter this lane. Once they buff this one up, once they rotate cards, we easily counter this location, but it becomes tough to win the other 2. We're going to retreat out of this one, but at least we know this deck. We have played against this. We have played with this deck so many times. Hopefully we can find a way to find a weakness in their armor. I think the Invisible Woman into the Shang-Chi in their Lockjaw lane could potentially be pretty big. I assume that they have something to go wide, like a Dr. Doom, probably an Odin, like Odin, Dr. Doom, maybe Magneto. That last card slot is a little bit of a flex tool. Usually where Spider-Ham is, it's either Killmonger, Wave. There's a few ways that you can play that one, but that's, I mean, we at least know the deck pretty well. So we have Kitty Pride on 1. Wakanda's Embassy comes down. It hits everything but our Kitty Pryde. We have Bishop, we have Bishop, Hitmonkey, Killmonger, Iron Lad to be able to dig into our deck a little bit further. Danger Room would be, I don't know, Danger Room could be scary for us. It could be all right. Let's go ahead and see if they have the Lockjaw rotation on 3 again. They got it was so big, them having both the Lockjaw and the Lockjaw and the Wasp on 3. I'm surprised they didn't snap into it, honestly. Usually I play that pretty aggressively, but I guess they're trying to fill out what our deck is. So we do grab our Sera here. We still have Invisible Man sitting in our deck. Let's go Bishop and then Kitty Pryde. Next turn we can go Sera for the reduction. I don't think we have to worry about the wave play. So they have Jubilee into the Danger Room, which pulls Mjolnir, which is okay. We are okay with that because then they could always do, I mean, I guess they could do an Odin here, but it becomes, we get our Shang-Chi. Beautiful, beautiful card for us. Let's go Sera. We go Sera into Wakanda's Embassy. We can do Shang-Chi, Hitmonkey. Maybe when we even do Nova, it really depends on what they play here. The Lockjaw rotation with the Wasp, that finally comes down. They had the Wasp sitting in their hand since the start of the game. They just were not able to get the Lockjaw until a little bit later. We don't have the Iron Lad. I'm glad it didn't hit our Shang-Chi though. Shang-Chi is going to be the key. Let's see. Okay, we get the retreat. I was trying to figure out how we position our resources on that last turn, but they do retreat out for 1. They're playing this very cautiously. I imagine they are just as nervous as I am going into this final Conquest battle. So it's a very quick 1-to-1 tie. We have Angela Bishop to start off. We have our Shang-Chi. We have Iron Lad to dig a little bit deeper. Spider-Ham does become a bit of a nuisance though, because it could hit our Shang-Chi. It could hit our Iron Lad at any point in time, making it much more difficult for us to find the resources we need. Lamentis 1 comes down. Cloning Vats is big. I'm not sure I like this. I guess we go Bishop into Lamentis, and then we can start playing our Kitty Prydes every turn, depending on what they drop here. If they have a Thor, huge. We have the Shang-Chi to counter it, but at least in one lane, that becomes very, very difficult. Spider-Ham comes down, it hits our Iron Lad. Beautiful that it does not hit our Shang-Chi, thankfully. And they did not play it into the cloning vat, so they're not intending to play it again. Fantastic. We will take it. Let's go Nova. We go Kitty Pryde. Next turn, we can go Nova and double Kitty Pryde, allowing us to do like 2 Kitty Prydes and a Shang-Chi on the last turn, maybe. The Dracula is, scary. Super scary. If we had Invisible Man, that wouldn't be anywhere near as scary. We could do Invisible Man, Shang-Chi, hide it, make sure that we have that lane locked down. But as is, very scary. They do Dracula in one other lane. I don't assume that they play anything big. So maybe we go Nova, Kitty. Super strange. That will allow us to do our Killmonger on the last turn. We'll take out the Spider-Ham. I assume this is Dracula in Lamentis in the right lane. Yeah. They get the next Dracula. I don't know what cards they have in hand. I assume that they are pretty big. Oh wait, our Kitty Prydes did not bounce it back in. We're awful. What are we doing? What are we doing with ourselves? I can't even begin to pretend like I have a decent shot here. With us clogging up this location, just awful. We'll retreat out for the 1. Let's jump into round number 4. We have our Kitty Pryde starting out. Beautiful. Muir Island is also beautiful. We have the Bishop, Nova, Killmonger be able to lean in on. Let's go Kitty Pryde, and we might snap. Depending on if we can get some of our other big cards or valuable resources, maybe we snap into it. Angela is beautiful. We're going to be able to stack this left lane while continuing to buff up a Bishop. Go Kitty Pryde and Nova. That may grab us initiative on this turn, but I don't think we have to worry about them having a Killmonger. They have that Spider-Ham as that tech slot. And so Grand Central will pull into a card after turn 5. We do get our Hitmonkey. And so if we can get a Sera for that cost reduction on 5 into turn 6, then we will be able to flood a lot of value on the board. They do get Thor. Shang-Chi is going to be a great target for him. If not, maybe we can handle it without it. We get Rogue. Really the only benefit in this matchup for Rogue is going to be the Evolved Hulk. Let's go Bishop. We'll go Angela in the left lane. We're going to start buffing up our bishop. I'm not a fan of the Grand Central location in the right lane. I don't know what it's going to pull into, but I know that I don't like it, no matter what. I would like to draw into Shang-Chi here, though. Drawing into Shang-Chi would be amazing. We could take out their Thor and their Jane Foster in this left lane. I mean, pulling Rogue, Killmonger. We're not going to play our Kitty Pryde. We would have the 1 out of 3 of just destroying our own Kitty Pryde, and I don't want to do that. Let's Iron Lad. If it's Shang-Chi, then they know that we have another Shang-Chi to utilize. But no, it's Mysterio. Okay, so Mysterio, not great, but it's not terrible either. Hopefully we pull into Kitty Pryde here so that it pulls back into our hand. We don't have the Shang-Chi to counter the Thor. They have Dracula in the right lane that gets pulled by Grand... No, it doesn't get pulled by Grand Central. We do get... Okay, we get our Kitty Pryde, so that is a little bit of a bonus. The Hulk smashes down in the right lane, so now we know that we're competing for these 2 locations. And Odin here would be absolute overkill. So we go... What else could they have that's big? A Doctor Doom. They could have a Magneto as well. I feel like this is the way. Might not be it might not be the right way, but I think this is going to be our way. We're not going to use Killmonger. The Nova is going to be a little bit of a bait for them. See if we can hold it down. They go America Chavez into mid. We have the massive Kitty Pryde coming down. And then whatever pulls into Dracula is fine because we overcome their right lane, we overcome their middle lane, and we overcome... they overcome us in the right lane, but that's fine. We will take the 2 cubes. We should be the 2 cubes. I don't see any way that this just like swings out of our favor. We will take the 2 cubes. That gives us a slight lead. Slow and steady is going to win the race here. I'm not in any hurry to get this one out of the way unless we see a very strategic, advantageous positioning. And so let's go ahead and jump into round number 5. It is high stakes, so it can get pretty intense pretty quickly now. Asgard is pretty big. We do have our Invisible Man to be able to hide a Shang-Chi behind. If we can fight for and win Asgard, that is... Triskelion is interesting. We get a glimpse of this last location. It's the Forge. Not great. And our Kitty Pryde did not pull back in because of this location. Oh, that's not great. It will pull back in this time, but we're not going to draw a card. So us getting those counterplays, it starts becoming a lot less effective a lot more quickly. They get Jeff, which is great. Great out of the Triskelion. We don't have fantastic resources, unfortunately. Let's go with this so that we can draw a card next turn, because I think that's going to be more important than playing the bishop out an extra turn early. Also, with Asgard, we're not going to get, even if we win that location, we don't really have space to draw those additional resources, especially with Kitty Pryde coming back up. The Hitmonkey's big. It's not big enough, though. Let's do bishop. We'll go ahead and play our Kitty Pryde over into the left lane as well, and then we'll see. We'll see. Shang-Chi is going to be massive to hide behind the Invisible Man lane, but they have played Thor into the Triskelion, so maybe we don't hide it. Maybe we don't hide it there. Maybe we hide a Rogue behind the Invisible Man and hope that they play for that location. Locked our rotation. The Nightcrawler is massive. Oh no, what do they rotate? Infinite. That is infinitely awful. They do draw 2 cards, 2 resources. Okay. We're going to Iron Lad. See what our top card is. Maybe it's Shang-Chi. Top decking a Shang-Chi here would be beautiful. We could potentially take out their Infinite, potentially take out some of their other big resources, and we have that Shang-Chi to lean back on. Giganto. Oh, it's the Angela. That is not what we needed. All right. Very well. Very well. I will cry my way to sleep with this. All right, so they have the Evolved Hulk. They have the buff on the Thor, guaranteed. This is an easy retreat. Shang-Chi would be beautiful, but we have to draw into the Shang-Chi to be able to make that play happen. Unfortunate. That is stacking so much power in their Asgard location. I wish we had the Shang-Chi. All right, so we do go down 2 cubes because it is the high stakes round. We do go down. We're now losing slightly against WCG. All it's going to take is one big game to swing this back in our favor. Let's jump straight into round number 6. Okay, so we start off with Rogue, Bishop, Killmonger. Washington, D.C. is okay for... I mean, it doesn't really benefit either of our decks. Now, we know that they have the High Evolutionary, right? And so with the High Evolutionary, we know that the last card that we haven't seen is that. So we don't have to worry about any of the mystery behind what they're playing now. Hellfire Club becomes a little bit tough to play for. We do get our Killmonger, Mysterio, Rogue. We draw into our Nova as well, courtesy of Hell's Kitchen. They drew into their Spider-Ham as well, so they're gonna hit one of our big cards here. So they're gonna play it. They're gonna hit our Iron Lad. I imagine that comes down this turn. Let's go Kitty Pryde and Nova. And then we're looking for an opening. We don't have our Shang-Chi to counter just yet. Ooh, they didn't do Spider-Ham just yet. And so they'll save it, at least for now. We get the Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman is beautiful value. But for now, let's go Bishop. We go Kitty Pryde again. I assume Spider-Ham this turn, which would guarantee it hits our Iron Lad. No, they go Jubilee. Okay, Jubilee is okay. It does pull their Chavez, so that's a big resource for them. But maybe we can grab bigger. Let's go Iron Lad and Kitty Pryde here. If it hits Sera, fantastic. If it hits Shang-Chi, also kind of fantastic. Because then we have the ability to play our Kitty Pryde again. We can then also... Oh, wait. Okay, no. We have Killmonger in hand. I got scared for a second. So then they now go Spider-Ham. It hits our Killmonger as our highest cost card. They get Dracula in the left lane. So if... No, this is Sera. So we don't get the Shang-Chi for a counter. So we know we have to give up this left lane. I think we would have to have Shang-Chi. Because looking at what they have left, it's High Evolutionary, Jane Foster, Hulk, Giganto, Infinite, all beautiful resources without us having a counter tool in place. We're going to retreat out for the 2 rather than staying and risking for an additional 2. And so we'll go down a little bit further. Let's jump into the next one. We need a good comeback round here. We now have Shang-Chi right off the bat, which is beautiful. Beautiful value for us. Nidavellir becomes a pretty easy lane for us to try to Shang-Chi, I imagine. Central Park can be cleared up with Killmonger, but it actually works in our favor a little bit by clogging up their lockjaw rotation lane. Whatever lane they end up going with, it clogs it up ever so slightly. Big House is great for their Thor, but not great for really anything else. I guess their lockjaw and then a rotation could be fantastic there. We'll see. We'll see. The lockjaw rotation is fantastic there. Ugh, unfortunate. We have the Bishop. Maybe they draw into something small. No, that is that is far from small, my friend. All right. I think we go with a Hail Mary Iron Lad. Hail Mary Iron Lad, the only downside is that it could potentially pull into our Kitty Pryde. We're going to play it safe. We're going to go Invisible Woman. Depending on what we draw next turn, then we may go for the Hail Mary attempt at a Sera play on turn 5 from the Iron Lad, but not until then. I don't want to pull Kitty Pryde unless we can help it. So Chavez is going to be counterable here. We know that, so it's Mysterio. We could still potentially pull into Kitty Pryde, which is the scary thing. I think we go Shang-Chi. And on the last turn, we do something like Mysterio and Iron Lad. Hold down the other locations. It feels bad not being able to use Shang-Chi in the big house, but it is what it is. They go Jane Foster, so they will get their... Ugh, awful. It would have been Sera. We could have top-decked the Sera with the Iron Lad, allowing us to burst a little bit more. Dracula in the left lane could be massive. Giganto in the left lane could be massive. An Evolved Hulk in mid could be more than we could handle. 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Eesh. If they go Evolved Hulk here, we could steal away the evolved ability, but that's not how we're going to win it. I don't think we win this one. It feels very bad. Oh, we can retreat out. I don't know why I thought we had to stick that one out. We're going to retreat out. That does put us a lot lower. A lot lower. But it is what it is. We have to play it safe where we can. Feels it's so bad though. And so now every turn could be the last round. So Kitty Pryde comes down. Throne Room is going to be decent for whatever big power play they have. Maybe we can counteract it. We have our Sera. We have our Rogue. We have Kitty Pryde early. We're not completely out yet. Don't count us out yet. They don't call it a comeback for nothing. Ah, it feels so bad. We came so far. All right. Rickety Bridge. is actually okay for us. We could try to like sneak a Mysterio in there on the last turn, sneak something of small value, so that if they fight for that location, it's perfectly fine. And then something like a Shang-Chi would be incredibly valuable at stealing away the throne room, the vibranium mines, or something similar. Let's go Bishop, Kitty Pryde. Next turn we'll do Sera, and then we can flood on the last turn. Now we don't have our counter tools. We don't have the Shang-Chi, we don't have the Iron Lad. And actually, if we get Invisible Woman, we can actually make sure that the Rickety Bridge stays as it is. We could hide a card behind it. It wouldn't destroy until after the turn ended, and so then Invisible Woman would allow us to reveal cards after that point. So there is a chance, if we can draw into Invisible Woman, that we can get some insane value and be able to just steal the Rickety Bridge away when they're not anticipating it. So they have the Thor. We get our Shang-Chi. We still go Sera here. Invisible Woman top deck could be the game changer here. That could be just exactly what we need to be able to steal this back in our favor. So they have the locked rotation. They do have the Mjolnir plus the Wasp that they can play both into the throne room. They probably do Wasp over here, and then they leave a big power here. We get the Invisible Woman. No way. No way. Why didn't we get this kind of play earlier? This is phenomenal. Let's go Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, Kitty Pryde. Actually, Shang-Chi, Hit Monkey, Mysterio. 2, 4, 6, 8. I guess it's the same. I don't know. I'm super nervous. Let's go ahead and lock it in. This gives us the free Rickety Bridge back in our favor. The Wasp comes down. I assume Mjolnir is in the Rickety Bridge. They are going to rotate with Lockjaw. Unless it's a Dracula. Ooh, the Vibranium is tough. The Evolved Hulk is not tough, though. So the Vibranium is going to come down. We are going to destroy both Thor and Hulk with our Shang-Chi in the left lane, leaving them with just 6 power over there. We are going to be able to ensure we lock down the Rickety Bridge with the Invisible Woman play. I think even without it, we'd be able to have a high enough power lead that we'd be able to win the left lane and win the power differential, but it's just that much more satisfying. So Rickety Bridge, wait. You know, oh no. At least that was not earlier on. At least it was a very uphill battle, but we should have won that one. I swore Invisible Woman with something teched behind it in Rickety Bridge would be fine. That ends our Infinite Conquest run. Our first attempt, we get really far in it, but we do not quite make it all the way. It makes my stomach hurt, you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh no. We would have had to win another 3 in a row, so not very likely that we could have done it, just knowing that it should have been a little bit different. We had all of the power and necessity to be able to win that one, but I played it under the assumption that I knew the interaction, and I guess I did not. Unfortunate. You guys, I can't say I'm not a little bit upset, but we came really far. We came so far, but in the end, it did not even matter. We will save the Infinity Avatar for another day. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I would have liked another ending for you guys, but we will be back. We will brew up another deck. We will make another attempt at the Infinity Conquest soon, and we'll see if we're able to make the outcome just a little bit different this time around. Next time around, not this time around. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.